Okay. Moving on to the 21 Duels then. Which actually means I need to change the music. Okay. Alright, so 21 rooms. Here we are. Haru versus Weasel. Hang on, let me clear this kiss and room here. Let's get rid of all of them. That's so much nicer. Alright, Haru versus Weasel in the 21 rooms challenge. Now, let's see if I've got the map up so we can have a quick review. Let me just check I've not got anything too incriminating as I switch over to desktop view. Alright, here we are. Okay, so this is turn 1. Haru, I believe he went into 1C or 1D. I can't remember which. I think it was 1C. He was with this group. But he didn't decide to fight for any of the gold. He just wanted to move straight on. Because you get 2 actions a turn. So he's moved straight on to the second floor. Where he ran into a guardian, Weasel. Now, Weasel, he has to beat Weasel to get all the gold if he wants, but he can win. Haru has 3 lives and Weasel has 2. As the standard. Depending on his class, he might have something else, but Haru should have 3. So. Go to the top. What do you mean? Anyway, so Haru's on the run. He ran into Weasel. He's got to fight him. I'm excited to see what happens. I think that's all the backstory required. Alright, so let's switch back over to the game. Here we go. Citizen Weasel having to play as a common folk because Haru has stolen his KSR. Although Weasel has abandoned the KSR recently. He's gone rogue, gone AWOL, so maybe he is feeling a bit more communisty. Would explain the name change. Anyway, Squirrel, Pigeon, Falcon, Skunk, Cam, Boar against Squirrel, Toad, Pigeon, Falcon, Skunk, Chameleon. So, all running Falcon, Skunk, Chameleon, both running Squirrel, Pigeon. The big difference is Haru's running Toads and Weasel's running Boar. I just texted my dad that I was streaming, and he sent me back, "That sounds horrible." I don't think he knows what that means. Anyway, I mean, it hasn't gone great so far, but it's going well enough. Okay, so map-wise, what have we got here? Harry's got a nice square of bases to take. whereas Seals and Weasels are more spread out, but it basically comes down to 4 bases each. Weasel probably can't take this base, given that it's right in front of one of Haru's expansions on the low ground, but he can pretty easily take this one. Haru can't really attack that without pushing straight past Weasel's main. And there's no real way... There's no way for Haru to get onto this high ground and really abuse it. Because all of this is blocked off. So the fighting is going to happen here. This is a choke point that both players have to walk through. I'm actually quite looking forward to this map. This could be interesting. One like central location and with roads all leading there. Never mind, but Haru's coming in with a set of squirrels. Both players going for chameleons right off the bat. Okay, Weasel lost a warren that was being built. So he's definitely the loser in that fight, but not by much. He already had his expansion up as well, so he's a bit behind. But both players going with very similar loadouts. And Haru was thinking about going for this mill, but he decides to expand forward instead. He's taking the riskier option first. And so he got the safer option for later on. And I think that's a good idea because it just immediately... It stops Citizen Weasel from expanding forward on him. And gives him a bit more map control. Because now the choke point that Weasel's gonna need to take is in Haru's territory. So who's gonna be greedier at the moment? Weasel's got slightly more farms, just one ahead. But Haru immediately scouts that and catches up. In fact, now he's going one ahead. Both players going for their second tier 2, but Haru's going for falcons, whereas Weasel goes for skunks. Now... Oh, and we're seeing more tier 2 come. With Haru going for his chameleon... No, sorry. Haru going for skunks as well. And what's Weasel spending that money on? He's saving up. Is he going to go for a boar? No, he's just going for more squirrels and some pigeons. Oh, I see what happened. Haru sold a squirrel one. He's only got 9 rather than 12. Sylvatica sperms attached to each other with protein hooks to form a long chain resembling a train. Nope, I didn't know that, and I will basically immediately forget it. What I won't forget is that Citizen Weasel has built a boar. Or is trying to. Is Haru going to get the scout off on it? No. He thinks this is all he needs to worry about. He sees the farms and he thinks that's not too insane, so I don't think he's going to assume that Weasel's hiding a tier 3. Not yet. But I'm not sure if this is the best option for Weasel. I think Weasel might be better going into falcons because Haru's going really hard into falcons and Weasel really only has the squirrels that can shoot up. With Haru's chameleons and skunks, he stands a good chance of just getting rid of the squirrels very quickly. So that Weasel isn't going to have any option to actually counter the falcons. And then they're just going to run riot. And the board doesn't really help with that. The board just tanks, but it can't really tank skunk gas for the squirrels. And it can't really tank chameleons for the squirrels either. Because the chameleons are going to be cloaked. So, okay, Weasel's now going for 4 falcons. Haru still hasn't scouted that, but he's responded correctly by building a bunch of falcons himself. I wonder if he did figure it out. Yeah, the boar really isn't going to do much. I mean, it will get rid of his squirrels, but... and put some damage on the tier 2. That's on the ground at least. Can destroy the warrens and the mill fairly quickly if it gets in. But as it stands, it's not going to work. Okay, so Harry's coming in. Army's pretty even. But Weasel is taking the lead. But as we've just discussed, it might not matter as his army comp is so much worse. Now, where's Harry focus firing here? It looks like he's focusing the boar, and he doesn't actually manage to get it. I wonder if that was deliberate on his part, or if the boar... It's kind of hard to not focus fire the boar, just because it's such a big target. But now, Weasel has a lot of opportunity to do some serious damage. Haru, I think if he'd attacked maybe a bit earlier before Weasel was able to get out those extra falcons, he would have cleared that up. But now, Haru's in a really bad spot. Oh, he loses his mill. He's in starvation mode. I think this is going to be GG. Weasel's going to take one life. That's game one. Is Haru going to keep fighting? I don't know how this works, by the way. So, I don't know if Weasel's... if Haru's going to fight all this out, or if Haru's immediately going to turn tail and run. He's going to fight again. He's lost one life. He's on 2. Citizen Weasel changing up his deck. Squirrel, Pigeon, Falcon, Skunk, Snake, Wolf. So it's not too different. Changing the Cam and the Boar for the Snake and the Wolf. Haru sticking with the same loadout. Now Haru's loadout is actually quite similar to a loadout I like to run. Except instead of toads, I take snakes. I don't think Haru really needs a toad in his deck because he's got the skunks and the chameleons, so mass tier 1 isn't really going to be a problem for him. And that's basically the only thing that toads are good at dealing with. That board did a lot more than we all thought it would. It tanked so much of those falcons, that falcon damage, and didn't even end up dying. Maybe if it had, Haru would have had a chance, because his quick respawning squirrels would have been able to shoot down Weasel's falcons, but as it stands, we'll never know for sure. Okay, so Weasel wants to be aggressive. I need to stop talking about last game. Now, Haru has scouted it out. He's managed to get his own warrens down. He's actually gone up to 3 warrens. So he might consider doing a counterattack. I think Citizen Weasel is looking to secure this high ground as early as possible. It is going to be very bad for him if Haru takes it instead. Haru's got a pretty nice base here. He can just expand out here, nice and safe. Weasel's got a safe expansion here as well. So it's not lopsided. I mean, technically there's a way round to it. If Haru walks along this ridge, down this slope, across this river, he can get into it, but if Citizen Weasel falls for that, then he deserves what's coming to him, frankly. Alright, Haru's got an army advantage and he's coming in. Weasel went for some extra farms. Now, Warren advantage. Warren tanking is a thing still, as well as reinforcement time. But, ooh, Citizen Weasel does lose 1 Warren. He manages to sell it for 6 food to recoup, but what's really important is that Haru has managed to secure this high ground. If he can hold it, and it is a longer path for his reinforcements, then he'll be in a really good spot. Now Haru building his next Warren forward to get those reinforcement times down. I think he might have been... He goes for the Warren. I was just about to say I think that might have been his better option, but now Weasel manages to force him off the hill. I don't think Weasel can push in, but he's going to try. He does have a tempo advantage. Okay. Despite what I just said, looking at their actual numbers, the numbers they really had on the field, Weasel might have been able to do a push in there, but nope. Haru gets to build up his army to fight another day. As Weasel pulls back, decides that he's got the high ground. It's not worth losing the game on a bad attack. He might as well just secure the high ground and go for his skunks. So Now, Haru did get a couple of warrens there, so I think he's probably... I mean, what was the count? The squirrel differential? It was something like 9. So, well, no, not 9. It was more like much less than that. It was 9 to 4, I think. So something like 100 food worth of squirrels. So Haru came out just in top, I think, getting those double warrens. But this map position is going to be really big for Weasel, because now Haru's stuck on just this one base. He cannot expand here without forcing Weasel off. Both players have gone for skunks, but Weasel has gone for pigeons, whereas Haru's gone for toads. So they're similar armies, but pointing in opposite directions at the moment. The toads make Haru better at doing burst damage in the actual initial engagement, but the pigeons give Weasel more long lastability was what I was going to say, but I'm not sure that's actually a word. Endurance, stamina, longevity, that's what I'm thinking of. So Haru knows this. He goes for some pigeons. You can feel pretty confident when you've got toads. They're actually very good defensive units. The first volley of the squirrels goes onto the warrens, and then that gives your toads an extra second to get close to the enemy and get those big connections. Alright, so both players going for falcons. Harry going for 6 as opposed to Weasel's 4, but he is going to be slightly delayed. They're going to come out slightly slower, but he is ahead on farms as well. Now, if he can just get a second falcon up, he might be able to hold. This is looking difficult for Haru. He's sold his toads. He's only got 1 falcon as opposed to Weasel's 3. And Weasel has a lot of squirrels as well. Okay, man, some toads would have been great there, but all the squirrels go down. The extra falcons come out. Oh, Haru loses both his skunks, but it looks like he's going to clear this up. But he's also lost a farm. He's only lost 1 farm though. He's still even, but he lost the warren as well. I think that's definitely a loss for Haru, but not by much. Okay, he sells a falcon warren. I think that's probably the right call. Get his army building. He needs he either needs toads or squirrels. He needs either toads so he can burst down this mass of squirrels, or he needs squirrels so he can win the falcon fight. But he's going for more falcons, and I mean, that makes his army very fragile. I can understand not wanting to go for tier 1 though, because he is up against skunks, but I think toads, especially with the pigeons, would probably have enough time to get in. I'm not getting my dad to co-cast, no way. That'll be my 1 million subscriber video, if it ever happens. Weasel probably should sell the skunk simply because he's only up against such a small number of tier 1. But there's no real reason to. The skunks will at least provide good tanking. He's getting some snakes out, which I think is a good choice. Snakes are going to be good against this, the skunks of falcons and the small amount of tier 1 Harry's got. The composition Harry's got, snakes will sort of chew through. And when the army count gets to small numbers, which is liable to happen given how even they are, it gives Weasel a big advantage, having a unit that can do so much when the armies are small. But here comes a problem for Haru. He's got a few minutes before it's really an issue, but Haru needs to basically win on these 2 bases. He's looking to do that now. There's only one snake out, so it's as good a time as any to move in. And he's getting some good pre-gas. A lot of falcons go down for both players. The skunks go down for Citizen Weasel, which means Haru's small amount of squirrels are able to just push in. And now Weasel's losing quite a few farms. Haru's still got a lot of pigeons up. He's still got both his skunks. And Weasel loses a mill. Is knocked in starvation mode. Weasel has no economy. It looks like Haru's going to take this game. Weasel needs 120 food to get a farm out. There's not a cabin he can easily take. And it looks like that's never going to happen because he's just getting overrun at this point. And that's game 2. And Haru, I don't know really how he managed to do that. He just held on with a smaller army for... You can see at the 6-minute mark, he managed to make that hold with a smaller army. And that just let him, even though he lost a farm there, he was able to actually get ahead in economy. And he was ahead in economy for a long time. There was also some issues with the focus fire there. Haru, it was even for a while. Both players were focusing down each other's falcons, but then Haru switched to focus firing the skunks once most of the falcons were gone. And with the skunks gone, that meant his squirrels were able to help out with the falcon problem much easier. So even though he lost all but one of his falcons, he was actually in a much healthier place. Also, Haru had a lot more pigeons, which meant the skunks for Weasel were pretty much negated entirely, as was the snake. So the army composition worked a lot better for Haru than it did for Weasel, which is not the way I would have predicted it to go. How can you focus pigeons? You have to be pretty careful about it. They're very small and they move a lot. And there's a lot of stuff in the way. Flying units in general are very hard to target. And I think we all know that if we've played this game. Alright, so Weasel's on his last life now. Is he going to take another wound before he goes? Leave Haru with some scars. Alright, I mean, it's not a bad map for him to try it on. He's changed up his loadout, going squirrel, pigeon, mole, falcon, skunk, boar. It's the famous this boar deck. Haru's sticking with his same old squirrel, toad, pigeon, falcon, skunk, cam. Which I feel like snakes would be really good against, but I mean, Weasel was very slow to get them out, so I also think that probably Badger would be the best bet against it, as really Falcons are the only solid answer to a Badger in that deck. Haru has always been sort of a one-deck wonder. He gets one deck that he really likes and he gets really good with it. And apparently this meta is going to be no exception. Toads? Are they Toads are not a reasonable counter to Badger, Coloru. It's hard to tell if that's sarcasm or not. Oh, Haru sells his farm. He did not need to do that. That farm was nearly built. That mole would not have been able to destroy it. In fact, that mole would have died in the attempt. Okay. Now he needs to sell it. But he's got enough squirrels up that these moles for Weasel aren't doing much. Weasel's now pretty far behind, but he's got plenty of food floating. He just needs to get some army up before Haru gets over and does a counterattack. But Haru's mustering too many forces. He needs speed right now. I think Weasel's... that extra couple of seconds is going to give Weasel enough time. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he can definitely start fighting back now. Okay, Haru doesn't actually lose any squirrels there, so all good. But neither does Weasel. So that was a bad mole push by Weasel. But it doesn't really lose him anything, and he was on 8 farms while that was happening, so he's delayed Haru slightly. It's basically pretty even. Okay. Haru did scout Citizen Weasel's tier 2. Is Weasel going to scout his? No. He stopped just short. Toad's counter to Badger support. Well, I mean, the main support for the Badger is the pigeons, and they fly. Okay, Weasel's coming in. He does have more. At the moment, he has quite a lot more. Haru's got a skunk and a chameleon about to come out. But are they going to be enough? Maybe they've delayed long enough that Haru's going to get away losing only 1 Warren. And he keeps that position he's fought for. And Haru feels confident enough to put down a farm. Supply blocked his squirrels and his extra chameleon. Hello, Malta Grease. Haven't seen you before. How you doing? Well, yeah, with 3 to 6 moles that would have been brutal, but did he have the money to afford it? It was more of a timing push. He didn't want Haru to have time to get those tier 2 up. Even though he didn't see the tier 2 Warrens. Interestingly enough. Okay, so we're getting the 3 to 6 moles up now. No pigeons though, which are a pretty important part of this composition. Okay, the chameleons get gunned down quickly, but they do their job of tanking. Like, the skunks get so much gas down that Citizen Weasel's going to be forced to retreat. Now Haru's got his better economy. He did lose 120 food in chameleons, but it breaks out about even. And since he was ahead in economy anyway, he's willing to take slightly bad trades as long as it means he survives longer. And in fact, that wasn't even a slightly bad trade. That was a slightly bad trade for Weasel rather than Haru. So that's actually quite a good trade for Haru. Yeah, the cams being at the front, they tanked all the skunk gas for Weasel, which meant Haru was able to get his down nice and easy on the units that actually mattered. Okay, so Haru's getting his falcons out. He's getting the trifecta of tier 2s up. And that is a powerful trifecta. I like to put in snakes, because that getting quadruple, those 4 tier 2s synergize so well together that it's just insane. It's sort of like I always think of it as the Exodia deck, because once you get all 4 pieces, you basically, it's hard to lose. And yeah, I know Exodia was 5 pieces, but give me a break, alright? The ferrets don't really fit into the deck, so I guess the 5th piece is a good economy. Or maybe the pigeons. Honestly, you don't really need the pigeons, because you're probably going to win in one fight, and you've got quite a lot of healthy units. Alright, so both players on a full 8 farms. Army value's pretty similar. Haru's slightly ahead. And now I think this is where we start looking at third bases, and I mean, both players can easily go up to 4. Weasel's got these 2. Haru's got these 2 down here. The question mark is this base on the high ground. If Haru tries to take that, it'll be a bold move, and it will basically force Weasel to start fighting him, because it will cut him off from this mill. Alright, fight coming in. Toad's coming in. They're going to get anything. They get a farm already. The chameleons get a bit far ahead and get caught out. Now there's falcons over the mill. If Haru just goes for the mill, he might be able to destroy it, but he retreats instead. And he has got a lot of farm damage done. He's getting more. Weasel's only on 4 farms. He's trying to build up a boar. I've only just noticed. I think he's going to be able to come in and destroy this mill. He is. Weasel just going for the boar at the wrong time. And Haru capitalizing on it. It's not a very good defensive position for Weasel, so he couldn't really afford to go lower in army. And Haru's going to take it. 2-1. He doesn't get away completely unscathed, but he does manage to kill his first Guardian. And I think that's all the games I've been given. But there is... He wanted me to show you the updated map, which I should be able to get from either Eel or Premium. Premium said he would give it to me, but I don't know where he is. Premium, you there? Let's see if I can message him. Apparently Raven has it. Don't know how, don't know why. I've learnt to stop questioning. I just basically do what I'm told at this point. Alright, so here we go. Now, we got Child and Pedro in 1A still. Pedro managed to hold Child back. We've got Lego Man and Eel down in 1C. I mean, we can actually get up the other and compare them. So, okay, this was turn 1. Leon escaped. Well, not escape. He got wounded and had to retreat temporarily, but he is still alive. We've got the Gank Squad on Master. Raven, Lego Man, and someone else who I don't really know, whose icon I don't recognise in 1C. I think this is Ziggy and Mole Rush. I know Mole Rush, and I have no idea who this is on the end. Okay, and at the end of turn 1, it's gone to Haru has progressed into 3B. Kolaru has gone into 3C and has found a dino. He's going to wake the sleeping beast. The green one is Aralu. Ah, Aralu. Mishi. Is that Mishi on the end here? Who's just run into... Okay, so we still got Child fighting Pedro to look forward to. Raven and... Is this non-Mishi? Kaiserus. Kaiserus, apparently, this is. Who has ran into... That's Parzival. If I don't mistake my... If I reach back into my depths of knowledge. We still got Eel and Lego Man in 1C. I'm not really sure what they're still doing there. Eel moved across from 1D to 1C. And Lego Man apparently just stuck around. Okay, so Jet and this guy, the two bullies, are sticking together at the moment. And they're on Haru's trail. They've walked into 2C to find the corpse of a recently deceased weasel. Now 2D is where the party is. We've got Zon, we've got Heartseed, we've got Mole Rush, we've got Araloo, and this guy. No, not this guy. I can't even say this guy because this is this guy. Furry man. Z. That's a dolphin? Looks like Zorok. How do you pronounce it? The Pokemon who shapeshifts. Yeah, Zorok. That's it. Z. Okay, well, they're all in here in 2D. And not doing much at the moment because there's no guardian in that room. They will. I think they'll have to fight each other for the gold though, so we could be getting a big free-for-all. And over in 2E, we've got Mishi, who has run into a Gabony. Now, I kind of think Mishi's gonna win that fight, but stranger things have happened. Gabony, like, he tends to surprise you because he runs away. He, like, disappears for months on end. So, where's everybody going? And what's everybody's plan? We've got... Okay, so next fights we're going to look to are Pedro versus Child, Parzival versus Raven, Parzival versus Kaiser, Dino versus Koloru, and Gabony versus Mishi. We might also get fights between Lego Man and Eel, but I think that room will have been cleared of gold because there was a fight in it last game. I think Jet and this guy won't fight because there's no longer any gold in this room, as Haru took it. I think that's how it works, but I'm not entirely sure. And in 2D, we're going to have to see... Koloru, I don't think was able to take all the gold. I think there's a limit on how much you can take. So there might still be fights between Jet and this guy, Lego and Eel, and this 5-man free-for-all. Which I don't really know how that's going to work because we don't do... You can't... There isn't a 5th character, so... Eel won't be fighting Lego, no. Whatever, I basically don't really understand the rules of this tournament. I have a very loose understanding. Gent knows what's going on. The players, I feel like most of them are just pointing in directions and then getting what they get. We'll see what happens. Next time on the 21 Rooms Adventure. Ugh. Right. I think I might have to call the stream early. It's getting late. And I think my dad wants to speak to me. It also feels weird to go into regular games now. It feels like this has been the end of a tournament. Even though it kind of hasn't. So, yeah. That's the state of things as they are now. We'll see how things progress. Apparently Raven knows more about this than me, which honestly doesn't surprise me. I desperately want to know what's in room 1B. I hope at the end, like, Gentleman reveals, like, the whole map and shows what was in every room.